Good morning, friends, and happy Monday. Okay, this week we are going to get into taking some notes. Okay, and today you're not going to take any notes, you're just going to follow along in this slideshow as I read some facts about some of the greats. And there are a couple of questions that you're going to need to answer as check for understandings as this goes along. So when you're watching your slideshow, okay, you're going to want to watch it in present mode, and you're going to want to click on the answer that you think is best. Okay? Tomorrow, we are going to start guided notes. Okay? And I'm going to show you in tomorrow's video what that is going to look like and how you can follow along with me and do it at your own pace and fill in your notes as we go. So that's what that is going to look like. You are going to have a vocabulary quiz at some point this week, so just keep that in mind. And we are still doing our 10 o'clock Google Meet first period today, second period tomorrow, fourth period Wednesday, sixth period Thursday, and eighth period Friday. We did have a couple of technical difficulties last week with some people who were joining into other classes. I will look into that. I did email links. It's weird. We'll fix it. Okay? So if you want to have this YouTube video running in the background, and then you want to pull up 4.1 Ancient Egypt notes, you can do that if you want to pause this and pull up the assignment. That way you can click through it, but you can have me reading it to you at the same time, and then you can answer your questions. So here we go. All right. So geography. Let's get myself out of the way here. All right. The Nile River flows north 4,160 miles long. It's the longest river in the world. Egypt is part of the Sahara Desert. Silt from the Nile makes soil fertile. Come on. Egyptians used the Nile for irrigation, dams, dikes, and water storage. Upper Egypt is southern Egypt up the Nile, which flows north, and the lower part of Egypt is northern Egypt, mainly the fertile delta. Okay, so here's the delta, right? Lower Egypt, upper Egypt, it's flip-flopped. All right, here is your check for understanding. Which statement is false about the Nile River? Click on the one that you think is correct. A, it was mostly a wooded area. B, it had fertile, rich soil. C, that Sahara Desert is west. Or D, the Nile Delta releases water into the Mediterranean Sea. The answer was A. Religion. Polytheism is the belief in gods in that control nature. I don't like that definition. We use polytheism as the belief in more than one god. That's the one that we're used to. But they also believe that they control nature. If you remember, they use the gods to explain things that they don't have scientific knowledge to explain yet. Okay. Happy is the flood god. Ra is the sun god. Osiris is the god of the afterlife. And Horus is the sky god. They used mummification to preserve the body for the afterlife. And Egyptians believed that kings and pharaohs were living gods that lived forever. Check for understanding. Which statement is false about the Egyptian religious beliefs? A, they believed in polytheism. B, they believed their leaders were living gods. C, they believed gods controlled nature. Or D, they believed Osiris was the flood god. And the answer is D. Economy. Egyptians grew grains such as wheat and barley. They traded with southwestern Asia, eastern Africa, and eastern Mediterranean. The Nile was used for transport of resources like grain, papyrus, linen, pottery, and gold. They bartered for copper, ebony, iron, and wood, which builders and artisans used. Robbers and pirates made trade dangerous. Egyptian merchants traded all of the following except wood, pottery, linen, jade. And the answer is D, jade. Social classes. The pharaoh was at the top of society. Farmers and unskilled workers made up most of Egypt's population, and slaves were common and had some rights. Most Egyptians did not live in cities but along the riverbanks. Women were respected and had rights, but men were more powerful. And here's a look at their social pyramid. We've seen it before. So at the top we have the pharaoh, then the nobles, then the government ministries and high priests, those are the religious leaders, town mayors, governors, priests, doctors, scribes belonged in many different ranks. Remember, we said scribes are very important. Artists and craftsmen, soldiers, farmers, and then at the bottom, women and slaves. How do historians know that record keeping was important to ancient Egyptians? A, scribes were a social class above most other middle classes. B, scribes were a social class all to their own. C, Egyptians developed paper and an accurate writing system. D, scribes were often married to religious leaders. Or E, A, B, and C are all true. I'll give you a second. The answer is E. Okay. Government and leadership. As you can see, they didn't exactly go in grades order. We'll let it slide. Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt united in 3100 BCE. The first ever nation state, people governed together, often united by common descent, and language. There were 31 total dynasties, and they had 3 distinct eras: the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. Hyksos took over Upper Egypt. Egypt reunited under his rule. Thutmose III expanded Egypt to its largest size. Ramses the Great made Egypt prosperous before its decline, and the empire fell around 1075 BCE. Sorry, guys, I need more coffee. Which leader expanded Egypt to its largest size? Hyksos, Thutmose III, or Ramses the Great? Thutmose III. Achievements. It was the world's first nation state. Obviously, the huge pyramids, temples, and monuments still survive, and their detailed records still survive. They had the advancement of agriculture. They made paper from papyrus, and they had ships built for trade along the Nile. Which statement best supports the idea that the record keeping was important to ancient Egyptians? A, paper was made from papyrus. B, Egyptians kept detailed records on papyrus paper using hieroglyphics. C, Egyptians were often attacked by pirates. Or D, pyramids recorded major religious events. The answer is B. All right, guys. So that was the slideshow for today, okay? So what I want you to do, play this video while you follow along, or just go through the slideshow on your own, answer the questions, okay? You are going to have a student check-in today, and you might want to go back to that activity that I posted on Friday, the In Other Words activity, and just go over your vocab words, do a couple of rounds of Quizlet, and use your time accordingly today. Okay, you don't have a lot of work. If you need to catch up on work, today would be a good day because we're going to start taking notes Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's going to take up a majority of your 20 minutes for social studies. All right. Today's code word is Sahara, as in the desert, but it's just Sahara. The code word is just Sahara. Okay. I will see you all on your Zoom meetings this week, and I hope you have a great day.